Hey everybody, my name is Nick Meta, Italian lawyer. This video is about British people who want to become Italian resident by the 31st of December 2020. As you probably know, if you become Italian resident by the end of this year as a British citizen, you will be entitled to stay in Italy after the end of the transition period in 2021 and so forth, without any specific immigration restrictions and without the need to go through the process of a visa or a permesso di soggiorno, or permit to stay. It would just be a matter of choice. You decide you want to establish residence in Italy. Until the end of 2020, you can still do it. So with just a few days left before the end of 2020, let me just list very quickly and easily what the requirements are and what the process is. I will give you exact information about how to adapt to the peculiarities of your local area. As you know, in Italy there is a huge diversity, not only in landscaping, food, language, but also in the way local bureaucrats interpret rules and regulations. So let's start with the requirements. What are the requirements to establish residency, for a British person to establish residency in Italy? So obviously you need to fill out an application, which is actually more than application, is a declaration, because you're not really asking for permission. It is your entitlement under the European Treaty to free movement, and even if the UK is no longer in the EU, there has been an extension since January this year until the end of this year. British citizens can still establish residency in Italy based on this mere declaration. Each comune in Italy has its own form. Some comune adopt the same standards, so the recommendation is check with your local comune. Sometimes they have it online, or you can contact them. You can go there in person, although with the pandemic it is extremely hard to get in-person appointments, so you can contact them on the phone or have them send you the form via email. Once you get the form, fill it out and make sure you have your Italian codice fiscale, your Italian tax number, the tax code. In the description of this video, you will find information about how to get all these requirements very easily without even going to Italy, if you don't have the opportunity to do so easily, or without even going to any of the offices you have to interact with in order to put together the documents that are required for the residency. So application, tax code, the codice fiscale, it's very easy. Codice fiscale, it can take anything between 1 business days to 3-4 business days to arrange one. You can get one through your consulate, the consulate where you live if you are not currently in Italy, or you can just go in person to the Italian Agenzia delle Entrate, the Italian Tax Revenue office, and apply for one in person. Your passport will be sufficient for the application. Other requirement is housing. You need to show evidence that you have a place to stay. If you own a property in Italy, your property purchase will do it. If you're renting a lease agreement, please remember that most comune ask for 12-month lease agreement terms minimum. So the more the better, obviously, but if you have a 2-month lease agreement, that would not work. So a copy of a lease agreement, if it is a lease agreement, make sure it is registered. By law, lease agreements have to be registered with the Italian tax office if they are for 30 days or more of occupancy. So the Italian community will only accept lease agreements that are registered with the tax office. Other requirement is medical insurance. Since you are not registered with the Italian national health system yet, they want to make sure that you are not going to be a burden for the society in Italy, so they want to make sure that you are covered, you have private medical insurance. You can find medical insurance for these purposes online. There are certain minimum requirements to be met. You can find usually premium options ranging based on age, usually between 300 euros per person to 400, 500 euros per person per year. Also, they want to see, as an additional requirement, they want to see, of course, your British passport. It needs to be a valid British passport, and recommend that you make sure that it has at least 1 year of validity, just because it is annoying to apply for passport when you are in Italy through the embassy, especially if you don't live close to an embassy or general consulate of the UK in Italy. The other requirement is evidence of financial resources or other means to support yourself. The local community will want to see that you actually are either employed or you have sufficient funds in a bank account. If you don't want to deal with providing evidence of employment contract, and which might be difficult to demonstrate or to translate into Italian, you can just provide the community with a bank statement in your name with a balance of at least the equivalent of 6,000 euros, and that will be sufficient. Many clients ask if an Italian bank account is necessary for this purpose. No, also a foreign bank account. Some municipalities, some community in Italy might tell you that actually they want to see a statement from an Italian bank account. That is not exactly correct. What they mean is that they want the information in Italian, so they cannot really refuse the bank account, money in a bank account that is not Italian. So just insist, perhaps help them out and provide them with an with an Italian translation if you're offering a statement in English. And as an alternative, some municipalities, some comuni accept an affidavit where you declare under your own responsibility and criminal liability in case of false declarations that you have enough financial resources and you have more than 6,000 euros in a bank account or in your availability. Sometimes some municipalities actually ask for both things: a bank statement in English with an Italian translation and an affidavit through which you confirm that that bank statement is actually accurate, correct and current. The last requirement, I would say it's optional but is strongly advisable, is if you're married, make sure that you bring with you your marriage certificate so that you can register your marital status with the local community as a married person. If you do so, you will be able to apply for a copy of that marriage certificate directly in Italy should you like to bring your spouse to Italy at any time. For immigration purposes, it will be tremendously helpful, and for so many other purposes it might be helpful. So you can file your application of residency along with your marriage certificate. So these are the main requirements, I would say, for the application for Italian residency, and it might take anything between 3 to 5 business days to put them together, and of course expediting the process, starting from zero. You might already have some of these documents ready and available, so it's really a matter of a few days. What is the process then? Once you have all this information, all these documents ready to be filed, you can file the application actually either in person, or you can mail it through registered mail, or you can email it. And if you're going to email it, our recommendation is that you use a certified email address. Certified email address is an address that uses a server that has a special government license, basically making that email the same as, or with having the same legal validity as registered mail. Like lawyers, Italian notaries, lawyers, Italian accountants have this type of registered email address, and any email getting to the community from these servers is certified, meaning it is certain the date and the origin and the sender, so there's going to be no way to possibly dispute that that email has been sent and received. So Potentially you could file the application remotely. It is definitely an option, and nowadays with the pandemic it's actually encouraged by local municipalities filing remotely. And then what happens after you file it? The local municipality within a couple of days will issue, within a couple of business days, will issue a acknowledgement of having received your paperwork. After that point, the municipality has 45 days to work your file, to make sure everything that you have filed is consistent, is valid, and meets the requirements for the Italian residency process. One of the steps that the Italian Comune takes care of is sending the municipal police to the address that you have declared to be your Italian home. The purpose of this visit from the police is to make sure that you are actually staying at that place where you have declared that you have moved and established your Italian residency. The police usually comes without notice. It is extremely rare for a comune to agree on scheduling a date and a time for the inspection, because it would defeat the purpose of the check. It's kind of a surprise check. They come sometimes at night, meaning at 8-9 p.m. when people come back from work, or they might come at any time of the day. If they don't find you, they might come back, they might leave a card in your mailbox. They usually check that your name is on the doorbell, is on your mailbox, might ask questions to neighbors, to the doorman if there's a doorman, and that might be sufficient. If your doorman confirms that you are actually living there, and the police sees your name on the mailbox, then it will be sufficient. If it is a single family house, for instance, where there is no doorman, they might actually ring your bell and knock on your door and ask for identification form. So they might introduce themselves, they might ask for evidence of your identity, and then once they are done with the inspection, they will file a report with the Italian municipality, with the Comune. If the report is negative, the Comune will cancel your registration. If the report is positive, they have found you, identified you, and everything is confirmed, then the municipality will acknowledge such information and will confirm your residency retroactively. So if you file the application now in December 2020, even if the 45-day term ends in January, you will be considered a resident of Italy, registered resident in Italy, in that comune, since the date of filing. So that is why you still have time to file the application to become an Italian resident. Just bear in mind, we're not going to discuss here in this video the consequences for British people who are not Italian residents, what that implies in terms of immigration obligations, traveling obligation and requirements after December, the 31st of December 2020. However, you will find some information in the descriptions of this video, and just bear in mind that as of the 1st of January 2021, British people who don't have an Italian residency already will need to go through a completely different process and different applications and more scrutiny and discretional decisions as to whether they can and cannot stay in Italy for an extensive period of time. So if you want to be informed about more of this type of information, you can subscribe, and there will be more videos like this, especially for next year. And please leave your comment with your questions. We'll be more than happy to answer them. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time.